There is a unique newly formed foundation in Canada called Thrive Alive. It focuses on integrative cancer care. It helps people who have cancer, but it is not part of any one specific cancer clinic, center, or agency. Dr. Walter Lemmo is a naturopathic physician oncologist. Stephanie Klaus is his partner in life and in business. It is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Walter Lemmo and Stephanie Klaus back to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, I think. Are we married, engaged, or going there?
Well,
we're engaged.
We're engaged.
Yes.
Well, that's a start.
Yes. One of the things that we did is that the foundation was launched on April 27th on a Wednesday. And this is something that we've been working on for about over a year. It's kind of like our little baby. Mm-hmm. And we are, I guess, living together, and people were asking, well, where's that ring, or what's going on with you two, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then I was kind of sitting back and thinking, what would be a really special kind of place and time to kind of propose. And so, at the launch of the event, she got a nice surprise.
Yeah, I was shocked, that was for sure.
So you didn't suspect?
No.
No, not at all.
Well,
not at all.
How romantic.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
As I said to Neil earlier, whenever anybody who has cancer leaves the doctor's office with good news, that's awesome.
Yes.
More than awesome, you know. So the nugget of this idea, Thrive Alive, was there a need for, how did it begin?
Yeah. Well, this is how it really began, is that, so as you know, all I do is specialize in cancer care, working in the trenches. And Steffi was actually involved with fundraising and cancer care as well. And so this began in 2009 in November, December. And wave after wave of patients were saying, like, where do we go to kind of get support for treatment? Where do we go to help out people? Because this field of integrative medicine, a lot of things are not covered by the government. So it's not the standard core thing sometimes. So like, say someone is doing, like, I don't know, intravenous vitamin C for cancer care, and it's really helping them, or mistletoe. Or
mistletoe?
Yeah, kissing under mistletoe tree. Yeah,
really? No, I read about this in your information. Yeah. Mistletoe injections?
Yeah. What people don't realize about mistletoe, say if we were in Germany right now, patients would be covered by the government with it. That's how big it is over there.
Okay.
But anyway, so it was just wave after wave of patients, and it seemed like, when you're getting this wave from the universe, and Stephanie being involved in fundraising, we're going, I think this is a sign for something for us to put something forward.
Sure.
And
what about controversial treatments that are not necessarily alternative, but available in another country, even in another province?
Yes.
Well, in another province, definitely, because our mandate is Canada-wide. In another country, no, because we want to support treatments that are actually done in Canada.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who are, fundraising for treatments in Mexico and in Germany. And although we can't support these people directly, we do want to give awareness to their causes, because what they are, the overall treatment that they are creating awareness for. People need to know about it. People need to know that there are so many more other treatments out there than just conventional treatments.
And as you know, anybody who has had a cancer diagnosis will try almost anything. And you don't want to go berserk, and try things that will hurt you or harm you. But most people want to live.
Absolutely.
Long, strong, forever.
Yeah.
I know we're not going to do that, but you're so willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, well, there's groups of people that are, and sometimes it also depends on who you see. Like, say, not every oncologist or oncology team is the same sometimes. So, for example, there are say, patients were, say, in one organization, they're told, well, you don't have any other options that we can give you, but yet there is maybe a chemotherapy agent that's not yet covered by the government. It's a bit new, or maybe it's available in another province, and so all of a sudden they got this price tag of, say, $6,000 or $10,000 a month for a chemotherapy medicine. And so, that's not right sometimes when your life is on the line too, where there's a potential option that, could help you. Yeah.
And you work with side effects too, I'm sure. So here's your treatment. You have to have radiation and chemo, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And as you know, there are side effects to treatment. So do you help people deal with that in Thrive Alive?
Absolutely. Part of our mandate is to basically cover anything that can help with any part of the journey, whether it be you know, someone who newly diagnosed, going through treatments and chemotherapy that's needing supportive medicine or acupuncture, which can help with side effects in chemotherapy. Or even more people who are more on the last kind of moments of their life that need support and solace from some of these types of treatments.
Sure. I know I took some Kahn kinetic therapy. Dr. Kahn, do you know him? He's in your neighborhood, but it was, it's to do with the central nervous system, and it just keeps you rocking along. And the truth is, as a cancer graduate or survivor, you're really not sure what did it, and you don't really care. you just care it went away.
Well, we had actually talking at our launch. We invited someone who was very actually instrumental in the forming of the foundation. When Walter and I were busy creating our charitable status application, we were in a restaurant and we were working away, and on the table next to us there was a newspaper article, and the title was Miracle Man. And it was about a gentleman who lived in Surrey, and he was diagnosed with a throat cancer, I believe, and he was given 8 months to live. And his entire community had come together and raised over $80,000 for him to afford treatments that would help him. And 2 or 3 years later, he's thriving, he's doing wonderfully, and he has his community and that love and that support from the community coming together.
Sure. Big. Friends, big.
Friends.
What's the latest in cancer research, in targeting tumors and targeting cancers, so that, I know in the olden days they just shot you full and affected all your organs, or some of them. Now it seems that they're going more to let's just radiate in a certain spot, let's just freeze this particular tumor. What's up?
Well, there's many things. So there's still part of the system that is that way, blasted with, you know, with what we got, because, you know, there's some cancers that we still need to improve a lot more on. But what's starting to happen as a trend, a couple things. Treatments are starting to get more and more targeted, what they call it. So you're saying that, say, with lung cancer, they're using, say, specific kind of chemo medicines that can target specific kinds of cancer cells. They're doing that with colon cancer as well. But what's also, you know, what's happening too is that, this is what I find interesting, there's also a shift on not just focusing on the cancer cell itself, but the area around it too. So that's why you're seeing these days talking about, like, when you support the rest of the body, calming down inflammatory states of the rest of the body. Too much, say, insulin might be a factor for groups of cancers. That's what's a shift is happening too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what you eat, how you exercise.
Well, I think a part of it is like part of what the foundation is looking after people. So here's a really interesting study that should have got a lot of press a little while ago. This was looking at, say, metastatic lung cancer. And what they did here was that they had one group of patients and they provided them with palliative care at the very beginning. I don't like that word personally, but like, so, because normally they provide it at the end of I guess, of someone's life to improve their quality of life and more.
You're a goner.
Yeah,
well, we all will be one day, but you're pretty much a goner. But we're going to make your going graceful and filled with love and attention.
That's right. So here, they did that right at the very beginning. And guess what happened? Well, their quality was improved and their depression scores were better. Nice, okay?
Right.
Guess what also happened? They needed less chemotherapy. Wonderful. Guess what also happened? They lived longer. You know, so we have to realize too is that we have to address the whole part of the person, and it could be really complicated. It's not always easy, but you're seeing these kinds of movements and supporting the body too, which are gaining huge strides and momentum.
So your emotional, your physical, your psychological, all of that. You thrive, you seek, you choose. I was reading your mantra. I don't know if this is a mantra specifically, but it's what you believe in the foundation. First, we believe cancer care should never be cookie cutter. By that you mean?
Well, you know, we believe that there are so many options out there, and while chemotherapy and radiation has a place in treatment, and they're absolutely necessary, especially for certain cancers in certain cases, there are so many other things out there, and it's individual. So cancer is just as individual as the person. And
you'd have to be a bit of a slow person not to think that if somebody's radiating your body, even in a specific spot, it's not going to have some side effects, and what you worry about when it's over is, I wonder what else happened inside my body when they were getting rid of the bad thing.
That's right.
And do you work with that? Like, what do you do? So you've had radiation, and you have good news, and the cancer's gone. Then what?
Yeah. So again, so it comes down to getting back to your life. But you know what, I think what's important too, there was a really interesting study done in 2008, published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, and they're just looking at lifestyle components, like say people eating and exercising and stopping smoking. You know what they found when you looked at all three of them? 5% of cancer survivors were following all the combination of the three. So that tells you something there.
Right.
So what's part of the problem with the model is too, is that they don't what are the programs people can go to implement? You know, what are the facilities that you can go to kind of ensure this kind of part of it too?
Sure.
And then yes, like when you look on the foundation website, there's all these kinds of tools that people can use to improve their life and move forward.
Right.
Right. So there's acupuncture, there's like nutritional things, there's like activities they could do, massage could be great. And then there's like even like when you talk about radiation, you know what promising tool is helping with a lot of complications with radiation these days? Say hyperbaric oxygen is a good tool. Oxygenation, improving your overall well-being. There's a whole bunch of tools. And then there's others where say like there's specific supplements, there's certain like intravenous treatments that are like quite popular or gaining momentum. There's a whole world of things that are out there.
Well, I've always been a fan of East-West medicine, as you know, and integrative medicine and naturopaths and homeopaths and regular doctors and surgeons, of course.
Absolutely.
But to put it all together, because we are complex, if you have endorsed integrative medicine, it's easy for you when you get a bad news scenario, because you're used to doing some kind of strange things anyway. But if you've never done that, it's difficult because the trust factor. Do you know what I mean? Somebody who has never had acupuncture or never thought about a mistletoe injection or kissing under the mistletoe, it's difficult to believe in it.
But you know something, what people have to realize is that the research is actually supporting these kinds of tools and approaches, you know, so that's what's happening. We also have to keep that in mind as well.
Yes.
And so part of what we want to do, what our mandate is like, let's give people an opportunity to try, just to see.
Sure.
You know,
and in Europe, if you look at some of the models, and I know you do, they have in their hospitals things like cold saunas. For inflammation. You go, well.
And vitamin injections.
Vitamin
are
injections.
A standard part of care in Russia and Germany, and so.